Who is?
There's a door open. There he is.
Man,
By the bell.
See it. Way higher, could be.
Funny.
Yeah, so there's other things even on top of this, but no, it's just trying to hit, so that you're right on the numbers. Spread, we're the spread, yeah, spread.
actually,
All right, 8 o'clock, I'll call the meeting in order. Your motion to approve the July 21st meeting minutes. Okay.
second it,
Any discussion on them?
do each one separately, just ask it. Good.
Motion to approve both.
Both of them, yep. I'll second that also.
Okay. Discussion on them?
I got one change on the August one. I don't know, maybe I made a mistake here, but, they approved that skid steer. Just says 2 buckets for up to 50 from the heavy equipment fund budget, but it almost makes it sound like we approved them from Tractor Central, but we approved them from anywhere. The buckets.
Yeah.
We need, might be in under skid steer purchase on the August 18th minutes. Good the way it is, or we're reading it here. Right, we gave you permission to get the buckets wherever you wanted.
Best price, yes.
Yeah,
I'll clarify that.
I want somebody thinking at Tractor Central that you're supposed to be buying the buckets there in case you don't, you know. Maybe you did already, I don't know, but
Yeah, we were out on them, but we didn't go through Tractor Central.
Okay, I'll clarify.
All in favor, say aye.
I,
Carries. Any public comment?
Entertainment.
Any public comment? Here none, we'll move on. Our business. Asphalt paver condition.
All right, so before we got down to County D there, we were doing some bridge approaches on 40 and the final drive had started going out on 40, so we brought the machine back and it let go at the shop. We have looked for parts. Cat is no longer buy parts. We looked for used ones. We're still looking to see what we can come up with of anything. We talked about this late winter. We keep sticking money in this thing and then we get no further ahead. The amount of money we gotta keep going with this thing, it's, yeah, great what we spend on it because it's just old and it's getting used up quite a bit. So I got a couple prices, just so you guys have some information on what we're looking at. We still got some more numbers we're gonna run. So used one, 2018. Eau Claire can get it in. Gonna give a 2-year warranty, put new drive tires on it. It's got about $1,900 on it for $315. That'll come with a 2002-year warranty. Brand new machine. Slightly smaller than what we got now, which we can work with. At about 590,000. And then identical machine that we got now, you're looking at 655 grand. Yeah, this one's new as well. Yep.
It was a 2018, sorry.
315.
315.
Yes. Oh, I mean, we'll get more numbers, but that's what we got right now. The 2 new ones are tracked. Newest one's tired. They'll work either way.
We discussed this once before, didn't we? But
Oh,
we never we just discussed it. We didn't do anything.
In the spring, we discussed, we had to do some major maintenance work to it to keep it going between
Yeah.
tracks and some other items. And allow us to leave this year, and we weren't able to finish because it broke. We hired another county to come give us a hand, and they were great to work with, so we got what we needed to do.
Probably possible, but then you're at their mercy, so to speak, if they don't have anything else going on.
Oh, no, we were very fortunate. They were able to come to us. I contacted a place in Minnesota, and they would have brought one over for us. It was like $13,500 a week, to run it. So, and they brought their operators down because it's their machine, which is, it goes, which is good. But yeah, we got lucky or fortunate that they were able to help us out.
well. I'll look at it. I'm at a meeting now. Get everyone done. Okay,
That's what I want to run through with you guys, just so you guys knew what we're looking at. $1,800, $1,900 ain't too bad. I mean, that's fairly low yet, and they're gonna give us a warranty on top of that, plus getting it to us with tires for the used one. But we can see what else is out there. I foresee this probably being one of the better ones with the hours being lower. If the machine we got now has got over 10,000 hours, and it's been degrading for quite a while now. We've been sticking a lot of money into it to keep it going.
But what's your plan for finishing up what you gotta do? Oh,
So we got just a little bit of work yet to do. We have other county coming in just to button up a few 100 ton, and we're done should be done for the years.
and I got all winter to maybe watch for a good used one or something before
We'll keep an eye out. Yep.
a lot harder to look at them when they're under 2 feet of snow though too. That's
True. That's one of the benefits with that used one, the 2-year powertrain warranty on it. It's kind of gives you the buyer's insurance essentially, They're gonna got the 2-year 2,000 hour powertrain warranty comes with it. Purchase.
well. You guys, I think we should do, because if we're looking at new ones, we gotta get 3 bids. All that would work if we buy a used one, you're not really bidding it out. I don't know how that would work.
You would probably just get a quote for each of them.
Do you guys want them to keep looking? 'Cause I don't think we're gonna afford a new one, are we?
oh,
Not with trucks coming. Whether it's beginning of the year, somewhere from beginning of July, we're waiting for them trucks, depends on when they get in the line. You got that coming out of there, our equipment fund couldn't handle a brand new purchase of a paver.
Emphasis is just keep looking for used ones.
I guess, see what he can come up with. I don't know, we're gonna have to figure out, where would it come from? Money,
The equipment fund.
I mean, is it there?
That's why we're waiting to purchase to see what our numbers come in after all these projects kind of come in, waiting for the next month or two to finalize, see where we're sitting.
So it's hard for you to tell us what we can do until you, okay.
Right, I just wanted to bring you guys up to speed that we're looking at what we're looking at for costs.
They'll keep looking.
Actually have the equipment for auction.
That Opal digger, excuse me, the old one. That Gale Skidster, that's gonna be getting replaced here within the next few weeks. A water pump that we replaced it basically for parts. And then we have an old steel sander that's been sitting out back for quite some time that we haven't used in quite a few years. So we do have backup stainless ones.
What is that? Steel sand, steel
Hold
sander?
on the back of the dump truck.
The sand salt sander.
I'm sorry. I was thinking metal. Okay,
Oh, yes.
gotcha.
Motion to approve the bids for auction.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Second.
second. Any more discussion on it?
Another question, if nobody was interested in that skid steer that we know of, or we talked about that last month, but
I haven't heard nothing.
that's still in pretty good shape, right? Your thoughts, could it be used in another department?
We broke down on us a fair amount of times. We lost a few $1,000s here and there on blacktop jobs because they broke down and the mix got cold. Well, that's why we're getting, want to update it because it needs,
The only reason I'm asking, maintenance is asking, but they're looking for a track also.
right. As far as how long it'll last them, I can't say. I mean, we've been through the wiring on it and replaced a bunch of stuff in the wiring because it's old. They're all parts, so.
That's 40, 1081. Yeah, okay, I'm done. So how old it was.
All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed, carried. Winter LPE on call.
With the new hires in bloom of who may or may not be around for this winter with their own personal things going on. We'd like to see if we can get some for on-call for snowstorms only. It's gonna come out of the LTE budget for the summer LTEs. We still have, we're looking at approximately having about 25,000 left in there. And if we have somebody that we can get, we used to have one a few years back who would come in for snowstorms. Be nice to have that option if we can find somebody to come in that has experience. And this is brought up because there is somebody that may do this.
We'd have to advertise it. Do we get any applicants? To approve?
you advertised the last one, when we did that winter LTE? Or do we already have it?
We already had him.
Okay.
Motion to approve the advertisement for LPE.
I'll make that move.
More discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Over. Next year, culvert aid.
All right. So statute 8208 is for county culvert aid. And Russ County has, the highway department has been doing culvert aid. The only thing we follow is by statute, which is fine, but it'd be nice to have something set in place for the highway department to work with these townships. That way there's some guidelines and guidance straight from us when we send out this in late winter, early spring, so they can apply. It also, in the next, the first page, that's got kind of just the guidelines and procedures. There's not a whole lot that can be changed to this. And then you got the petition form for your town, your city, or village. And this is on that 50-50 share of the culvert bridge aid. And then also attached are the statute. There's two statutes. I think this is something we should follow through with, and the townships, I do have a couple townships that are working on filling this out. I'll bring it in for you guys to sign. This was what we had already done in the budget, as it's something we're working with now. Any questions? Just, we'll see what you got.
Basically, it's just more documentation, ain't it? Because we didn't do this.
There hasn't been nothing done before. All it says is, it's basically just the agreement that they understand how the 8208 statute and the county and the towns work together. And then it's on the petition here. So when it's all said and done, we're in agreement that we split everything down the middle on the appropriate costs that come with the job. But anything, you give an estimate, anything that goes over, you still split it 50-50.
And again, you got, the county does the work? Or-
So, yeah, so right here, which line? So after number 7, line number 1 there, after number 7, highway department shall complete the work unless the highway department chooses not to complete the work. So it gives the highway department has first call.
Gotcha. It's right of refusal.
Right.
There's something in here where based on budget constraints, it can be put off or in case you got slammed one year or something.
No, because this goes above the levy and each town pays into this
Okay.
culvert aid. And
I didn't know that.
We do try to be consistent year to year as to how much we're putting into that budget so that it's not up and down, up and down. But the bridge projects, bridge construction also goes in there. Right now, we don't have any in the program, but we are looking at putting some in the program. So that, like that
and
budget as well.
this will help kind of get these projects in line so our budget number should be close. So project petitioned for on or before July 31st of the current year will be completed and reimbursed in the following year. Project petitioned for after July 31st of the current year will be completed and reimbursed in the second calendar year. So that's where the fine line of when they petition for it, if it's on the 31st or before, it can be in that cycle. And then if it's after, it's going to be in the second cycle, second year.
Where'd you find this? Is this something we already had in our ordinance or?
You didn't have anything. We just followed the state statute. I worked with 2 other counties, see what they had, and I worked off of theirs and created our own. And then Rich went through this as well.
Shit.
Yes. As well as Ashley helped too.
Motion to approve the bridge and culvert petition.
This would have to go on the board too. Oh,
So we're following state statute. We're not changing anything. The only thing we did was just kind of clean up a couple things in terms of expectations. And then we put that due date in because some townships were putting in for culvert aid after the budget had already been submitted. So we wanted to make sure that we had all of the projects set for the following year so we could levy correctly. So nothing in here is changing anything about the state statute. It's just,
Sure.
you know, kind of some bumpers, if you will.
Which we follow it now. It's just more documentation then. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Your second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion on it? None, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Issue of the 2025 pavement management report.
You guys all got a copyright? No. Report. I'll just kind of run through how, I think it's important, a lot of months of work to try to put it together. I know when I started here, one of the things was to try to get more of a formal plan of our operations and work and what we're trying to get done here. So I've been working for quite a few months, working with Justin, trying to put together more of a formal report of operations for pavement management going forward. So you guys got a copy. I think what I'll try to do is make this fairly quick, but I'll try to run through this so you guys understand what's in the report. And I know you'll have to take it back and digest. There's a lot of information in there. I'll just highlight a few things to start with. When I looked at your program here, what you guys have done in the past, you know, it was a lot of small work. So it was a lot of wedging and overlays and jumping around for smaller pieces of work. And what we're really trying to do here is look at what we can do going forward with building more of a program where we're take larger segments of roadway, create a plan going forward and be consistent with our operations and what we're trying to get accomplished with our paving and construction work. So when I looked at it, we said, let's rearrange things here earlier in the year. I think we went through that process. You saw what we did this year over on W and down on D, trying to finish a project down there that I thought really wasn't finished to get that completed. So you saw what we did this year. As we move forward now, we're trying to put it more in a plan document. So a couple things, I'll just highlight a few things that maybe I'll just go through the report because maybe it's better for I just need to do that. So if you take it, you'll want to go to tab 1 in the report, open it up, and what you're going to see there, it's just something that obviously I'm not going to go through it all, but that's giving you like a little bit of verbiage on where you guys are at, what you have budgetarily, your budget challenges, and just highlights everything in there. So it's quite a bit of reading there if you look at the first 4 or 5 pages of your program. But if you flip to the last page on that verbiage, you'll see one summary data sheet in there in the tab 1. That kind of gives you at least a breakdown of your program. I try to put in there obviously your mileage, your classification of your mileage is all pretty similar because you guys run almost all collectors on your county highway system. It gives you a breakdown per mile of what the costs actually are for the different types of work we're looking at doing or have done in the past. But I guess a really highlight as you go down there after that is I'm looking at your system of 255 miles of county highway, and I see 175 miles of it that actually needs some kind of paving or improvement work right now. That's a significant amount of work that's out there that needs to get done. It's a huge challenge. I always look at backlogging, where you're at right now, what work you need. And then I always like to say, what does that cost? Just to do pavement replacement on all those highways that are out there that need work right now, I'm looking at about $48 million. I mean, that's, I guess, the reality of where your program sits right now as you look at what kind of work you need out there. And this is not getting into construction or any other work. It's really just pavement replacement. You're looking at about a $48 million backlog with all those miles that are out there that need improvement work, need some, pavements, replaced out there. And you see that in the categories there. You'll see the pulverized construction, mill pave, that's that 175. You'll see some that kind of sit in between there, that overlay seal coat, and then you see the crack seal, no maintenance, where you see those 60 mile that are fall in those categories. So that just kind of gives you an overview, but I'll flip through the report and you can kind of see where that all comes from. If you go to the second section of the report, you flip in a few pages. What I did is I want to break down your system and create something for the future. So create something more permanent going forward of what you actually have out there. So you'll see the segments in a spreadsheet, then you'll see the first map that breaks down your system that shows all your pavement segments. So what that really is just taking all your county highways, breaking them into pieces that will be permanent going forward. These are your pieces that are from anywhere where it connects into a county or state highway, and break it down into all your segments in your system right now. And it's 53 segments. They're all kind of colored on that first map. So that's kind of what we're working off of as we start looking at segments. If you flip in a couple more pages, I took that and I broke it down another way. The way I like to look at it is break it down into maybe workable corridors, which are 20, 25 workable corridors. Well, as you flip in the corridor part of it, the next map on that section 2, it broke it down to 20 corridors. So again, it's taken most of your county lettered highways, and then some cases you have some really long county lettered highways in your system. And some of those are splitting into 2, some are staying the whole lettered highway, but it gives you kind of workable corridors to try to work off of for plans going forward. Again, the way I want to look at it is you jump over here and do a quarter mile here, and you do an overlay of a mile over here, and you do another. You're never really fixing anything. You're not really fixing a corridor that people actually drive on. So I like to look at your system of breaking it down into these segments and corridors. So as we attack programs and projects, we try to attack them together. Well, I'll flip in again a little further. Keep you guys moving here. Your third tab is not going to be anything in there because when I looked at your project history, Justin and I went through that here back a few months ago. There was such a variety of things that have been done in the past, again, where a lot of it was wedging or small overlays and small pieces. It was really hard to define that. In this section of the report, I actually like to looking back at your project history and start building that, going forward of here's what we've done. The history was, there's a lot of missing data. There's a lot of small pieces. So what we're going to try to do going forward is start creating a project history off what we're doing now as we do these more full segments or full corridors. We'll start building a project history off that. What I'm finding is some of the stuff I looked at that there was history data on mismatch as far as what actually was done and work that was done was overlays that we really don't know how thick those overlays even are. I think some of them are thinner than we actually anticipated when we started the process. So I'm gonna skip over tab 3 and go to tab 4. Flip into that. This is where you get into starting to evaluate your system. See the spreadsheet that has all your pavement segments, and it'll give you a good breakdown of the ratings that go with your system. And this is that, I guess, that little bit of a wake up, I guess, on your system is, and this is where I saw, again, data that was a little mismatched from what was previously been reported here, because I looked back and when I first started here, and I saw average payment ratings that were being brought to the county board that were saying you guys were having an average of a 6.6 or 6.8 payment rating on your payment ratings.
Just
We're
to say that
we're near that. Yeah, we're nowhere near that. I talked about that early on, and yeah, so I,
here is that.
yep. So I came up with 4.24 as the first go around here. This was done late last year, so it doesn't include the projects from this year. But that's, I mean, I've had to do this for a lot of years between counties I've worked for, counties I'm working for now, and that's about as low as I've seen actually for a county for your average payment ratings. And I don't want to be negative up here at all. It's just where you're at. You got to inventory the stuff and you got to look at where you're at and where you're trying to go with your program and what you're trying to do. So if you flip in another page here, you'll see the rating map. And I'll mention one thing about the rating map is when you look at that, where the tab 4 there on the ratings is, again, I'm taking these as segments or corridors. I'm looking at those segments and I'm rating an average. So if you look at one, you might say, well, I know on County Highway E over there, there's a mile in there that we paved or did an overlay on, and that's better than a 4 or a 3. Yeah, you have pieces within some of these segments that may be a little bit better because of all this jumping around and doing some overlay work. But when I average it out to what's actually there for that whole piece driving all the way through, which again is how most people are going to look at it out in the real world as far as driving through that segment of roadway, you might have 1 mile good and you have 5 miles that are bad, and it's a bad roadway, and so that gives you kind of the ratings of how they sit right now. So
How accurate are those vehicle counters that you see across the road sometimes? Should some of these have that on there so we know what to maybe prioritize on too?
that's a good question. There's most times when you're doing pavement management, you're looking at your programs, yeah, you come up with ways to prioritize your work. Two of the main ways of prioritizing it, you get into looking at I mentioned that your classification of your roadways, which again, in your case, they're almost all classified the same. They're all collectors, which a lot of counties go to. They have a mixture of classifications. That ADT is one of the other ways, your average daily traffic. And problem with yours is we pulled all that data out, and I don't know if I have it in the report or not, but your average daily traffic does not change that much. You're looking at between 150 and 450, 500 cars a day on almost every payment segment you have. So you have to get, and you guys know which ones are maybe a little bit busier or which ones, are going to be a little less busy. So yeah, you do use that to a degree. So as you look at where you're going with your program, you are going to try to lean towards favoring certain things and looking at those priorities of what makes sense. There's multiple things you look at as far as where you're going to go with your program. That is one of the things that you kind of put into that as you start building your plan off of maybe there are roads that are a little bit more important or, they have just a little bit more traffic, which you guys do. It's not much different here, but the difference is, you can tell that when you look at some of the areas. So I'll go through, I guess that next chart, is that chart after the payment ratings. And this is not a very good chart. This is typically what you'll see, and you might see more of a balanced chart of where your payment ratings are. And you can kind of see that chart is not a very balanced chart, right? As you look at the chart, it's got almost everything sitting down in the bottom end. It just shows over the last several years that all this piecing together of work that has been done is not really built any kind of program going forward. So you're seeing just a kind of that big top of miles that are going to be down in that 3, 4, 5 category, and you don't see much at the top end. And again, that's the challenge of as you jump around and you got these little fixes you're trying to do all over the place. You're not really fixing something that starts getting that improvement plan going forward. So go to section 5 tab, go in, look in a couple of pages where the chart, the tables there. And the tables are just breaking down a little bit on where the ratings kind of fell. And you'll see as you look at those tables, that 1, 2, 3, 4 at the very bottom, that table there is where all those are kind of sitting right now that need work. And as you flip in another page, okay, 2 more pages, you'll have under section 5, you'll see that first map again. And that's what I mean by, that's the breakdown. And when we start looking at a program, the first thing I break down is where are we going with our program? You'll break down anything that's available right at that point in time for pavement kind of work, So I always map out, I look at that, I chart it out, I map it out. And so we got all these segments that are in that area right now that could use work, could use paving work. So it does make it pretty complicated now where we go, because if we only have enough to do a few miles, it's a challenge going forward. So flip into section 6, tab 6, a couple pages in. You can actually go in all the way to the map, I guess. 3 pages in. Well, that is next year. We talked about that a few months ago. Highway P was the one we kind of singled out for next year for the budget. And so you start seeing this start to come together. You'll see it in the next few pages of we start building a plan kind of going forward of what we're trying to do here. So you'll see if we're trying to do the full segment for P from Highway E up to 27, then 27 to G. And it needs a lot of work on that section. This is where we start talk about this in a second here on we're looking at budgets and what we're trying to do. We don't have, obviously, we don't have a ton of funding. We're being funded in the last few years about $1.5 million for road work in the county. So as we look at that, how much work can we do, but yet try to tie it back to kind of a more of a plan here where we're going to try to do larger pieces and segments like this. So P is a good example of one that vast majority of it is in really poor shape. You guys, most of you guys are familiar with P. The very west end, as you go towards E, there is a segment there that's 1 mile to 2 miles, 1.5 miles long, that's had some kind of overlay done more recently. I'm not talking like recent, the last 10 years, but maybe 13, 14, 15 years ago. So if you drive it, you'll see there's a little piece that's a little bit better. What we're actually proposing in that budget to try to stretch our dollars, we get into trying to stretch dollars now, we're going to look at pulverizing everything on P except for that piece. We're going to try to do an overlay over that better section to carry this whole thing all the way through that part of P, and use as much CHIP funds as we can, and use as much budget funds as we can. And we're still maybe a little short. We're hoping to have some little bit of funds at the end of the year to carry over. So we're doing everything we can to put a pot of money together enough to start doing a plan here where we're trying to get these bigger segments actually done for work. So that's what we're looking at for next year, based on what Justin and I have been kind of going through this quite a bit over the last 2 or 3 months here to try to get this laid out. You flip to section or further back in that section, you'll see the 5-year, or actually we're in section 7, it's a 5-year improvement plan. Well, a couple pages in for the table, the spreadsheet. This is trying to break out again. This is going forward, just like I'm talking about, trying to build a plan of where we're actually going and try to look at the funding and what we may or may not get accomplished. I built this plan around as I worked on it, looking at the financial side of it, as we built it, and again, trying to get corridors done. The challenge is I'm stuck on being closer to $2 million in the plan right now. Right now, we're being funded at $1.5 million. We're trying to obviously put CHIP funding in there too to help some. That'll get us maybe to 1.7, 1.8. Maybe we can find some more ways to stretch dollars in these, but we're trying to push as much as we can to get these corridor segments done. So if you flip the next page, again, you're going to see plan kind of going forward. Again, all this is just plans. These are just plans of what we're trying to look at. Everything could change year to year. I mean, next year something could happen. Next year you guys have more priorities. You want to push a different roadway. That's obviously that it is what it is, or more funding comes along or less funding comes along. Everything might change here, but this is trying to create a plan going forward. So right now, looking out past next year, the next 5 years after that, starting in 2027, and you see if you have the map out, you'll see that's that M project we've talked about, where the STP federal funds are in. So again, try to complete the whole corridor. We might actually do a little bit of work on the south end of it with that STP project, but trying to get a larger segment done on M with some of the federal funds, with our funds. And then as you move forward to the next few years after that, we're looking at 28, 29, the E corridor from up by Highway 8 all the way down to the south near the county line there, near E and down to D, over 2 years. Again, this is the longest corridor. It's 13, well, give or take miles, 13 and a half miles So we're trying to stretch out to get about 7 miles done. Again, in these cases, we need chip funds, we need all our funds. We also need to maybe compromise somewhere in there. Again, we're looking at it on E. There might be a piece that's a little newer on the north end. Maybe we gotta do an overlay over a mile, but then the rest of it all the way through, we're gonna try to pulverize. So again, we're doing everything we can to stretch dollars to get these segments, done and get some real improvement done. So that's the Highway E. And then the next 2 years after that, we're looking at the section F, which we started to kind of fall apart on us this year. We got to go out there, do some patches because it's really been sinking out there. If you've been on that highway, we've had some edges that are really dropped off, a lot of rutting out there. So they're doing some greater patches out there either just recently or right now they're doing them. So we're looking at that being the next corridor is take F from 8 down towards the county line there again, towards D. Again, it's about the same mileage, 13, 14 miles, but we do it over 2 years, the funding where it's at. So again, it's what we're hoping is over the course of 2, 3, 4, 5, we're gonna start stacking these things on top. So you'll start seeing a improvement map that starts showing, a history map starts showing segments that are actually getting done, going forward. And that's what we're trying to build here with based on the funding we have right now and where we're at. So outside of that, I'll just mention a couple things. And again, I know you guys, it's a lot of information for you guys to absorb, and I know there's a lot of reading up front there you guys can look at as far as that goes. But the 4.2 rating is, again, it's gonna take some work to start working these, these roads back up again, but we hope by creating a plan like this, it starts creating a wave, our ratings are gonna start rising up and we can actually start improving the roadways. The backlog, again, $48 million, that's just paving work right now. That's nothing else. That's no construction work. That's no bridge work. That's no other work. Position you guys are in, and I mean, I've been here now for a while and I don't want to say, I guess what I want to say is it's got to be some reality to where this department is at. And we're trying to work hard at trying to make improvements and where we're going and where we're at right now. But there's got to be some reality to the fact that you're sitting on about a $50 million backlog and probably road and bridge work. We have facilities that are in really poor condition, which you guys know, and you're designing a facility right now, looking at that. But again, you're looking at a building that's going to be what, 16, 17 million. You got site work, other buildings eventually you're going to have to be done there too. So you got that backlog kind of facility stuff that has to eventually happen or happen now or whenever that happens. I was here about 3 months ago and I went through draft of an equipment plan report, which I'm going to probably next month finish this off. This was just a draft I went through with you guys, and I'm going to probably bring that back next month, and it ties into what you're talking about, the paver right now. I did that draft. Yeah, they're sitting on about a $9 million backlog in equipment that is so old that needs replaced, and that's why we're here every month or two. And Justin is pulling his hair out because paver is broken, it doesn't work. Skid steer is broken, it doesn't work. Loader is broken, it doesn't work. So we've kind of ran into that. We keep running into these issues. So we're going to try to do the same thing we're doing with pavements with our equipment and see if we can create more funding within our equipment fund. We're working on that really hard this year. We're hoping that's actually going to start popping up a little bit higher based on how we're running the operation now and create more funding there. But the reality again is you guys got a lot of old equipment too that you're sitting on a $9-10 million backlog. And last year, or the reality again is it's like your paving budget is last year within your operations, you only created about 270,000 to buy equipment. That's it. So without extra funding, which you're not getting right now, that's all you're creating. So when you start talking about even a used paver, $300,000, that's more than you created last year within your operations by charging your rates and how you run your equipment. So again, I want to be negative up here, but I talk about not wasting money, not wasting dollars and going forward. It's really important we don't, because we are in a position that we really need to start making improvements. Again, I think things have been going pretty good this year. I think we're turning around. I think you'll see our equipment operations this year are going to create some more funding. I also think with a payment plan and project there, we keep working towards making sure we're not going out there I really want to avoid as much as we can out there and just throwing a wedge down or an overlay. This is an absolute emergency. We have to do it, right? But I think in the past, there's been a kind of a thing where we've been trying to go out there and wedge miles and miles of roadway. And if it needs it and you're absolutely have to for safety, you do it. But we want to put our money into improvements, so that's what we're really focusing on is let's start improving things. Let's get these payment ratings so they start coming up. So we're not just fighting fires all the time, whether it's a road falling apart where you have to run out there and do that, or it's a paver broken down where you can't even run your own paver. So try to build this a little bit more and try to start getting out of the situation where we're doing all that, so. Well, I guess that's, my take on, not only the payment plan, but kind of where you guys are at right now, so I'm be happy, I mean, I know it's a lot of information right now, but if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer any question right now, but again, like next month, even if you guys go through it more and want to ask any questions on the payment side, but I'll answer any questions you guys may have right now.
Questions for him on the report?
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. I'll put some time studying it, but it's a lot of work in it, a lot of information.
I would like to see this eventually, Bill, set up so it can be presented to the full board too. I get a lot of questions about highway. Getting a lot of questions right now about the paver. Why are we doing that? So I mean, when you guys do just come, that'd be a couple things but I really like how this in here and on the back. They've embraced to the back here, the issues you're having with keeping employees and stuff like that. I mean, it's.
Yeah, so to put that at the very back, there was challenges and just labor and everything else they've been dealing with too. It's on top of the budget challenges and labor challenges that are getting tougher and tougher too out there, so.
Maybe a guy could even do a section in here when you do it at the board where it includes the paver.
If you guys want to make a copy for the board, you can go ahead and make a copy off my airport, pull one apart if you want to and run up. But it's fine.
You mentioned it was a draft and you wanted to touch it up a little, that's why I didn't.
Well, the payment's pretty close. The equipment actually, I mean, I'm actually looking at next month, probably, and that finished up too, and then probably bring it to you guys next month. So sometime after that, if you guys want to do kind of a dual thing where we talk about everything, because it kind of all goes together here, which is where you guys are at right now with your payment stuff, your equipment, all that. So.
Is this typically what you would include in your update that you guys give to the board annually, or is this something that you would pull out and update separately?
We could do, we could do as part of your annual report, we could actually do a little spiel on this whole thing too, and anywhere too, right? Yeah, that could be put together for, I do that even going into point next year, whatever you want to do, or whenever you do your own annual report. I'd always do some of this kind of stuff too, and part of my annual report too with my board, so in the past.
Or were you looking for a standalone presentation?
Oh, I'm yeah, because I'm getting a lot of questions from different people, so I just think it'd be good between this and the paper to bring them up to speed before so they know where we're at. You can touch whatever you want, but I think those two things definitely should be touched.
Yeah, and I think the equipment, like I said, by next month, by this meeting next month is what I was gonna try to, get that equipment one finalized, that when I give you a draft on. And it's nice to have it all together, then you can kind of see the whole thing on the payment.
Like I said, towards the back, you're touching equipment issues, you're touching employee issues. I mean, it's all in this. So.
But that's fine, if you guys wanna look at something where you put it all together into a little more of a report, and for, the board, I could do that too, yeah, so.
You can put a page in there like you guys have done on the equipment. Reading it and stuff. If you want to turn this into that type of a report for the board, add a few pages. It'd be good I think that opens some.
That's good for everybody to see, because this is meant as, again, this is not just let's throw it away. I mean, this is meant to build off and out for going forward. That's why you put it all together like it is for segments.
I like
But yeah, I started doing this several years ago, and I'm doing it for some other counties now too, and it's kind of you kind of start building off this first year of actually putting it together, and then you start seeing where you're going, and then you'll start building the progress as you go forward then too. If we making progress now on what we're doing, if we start moving forward, the programs. And I think you will. I think if we can stick to these segments that we went through now, and how we're trying to segment it and put more money into these, the program side of it. It won't take long. You'll see some progress starting in a few years if it's starting to move the ratings up a little bit. It takes time, obviously, but moving forward.
And quite honestly, for the county to bond 4 every 2 years versus 3, I don't think it's going to change the mill rate that much if that's what we need to do to get our, on a plan.
Yeah, and we'll know right now we're at a point where, again, for next year, we're trying to pull forward again more. We had a lot of CHIP funding that was kind of sitting there that was going to build it up. So next year, we're trying to pull a couple of those CHIP projects forward, a little bit more funding there. Next year after that, we have the federal funding too. And so, I mean, you might have a little bit of time too to look at it and say, okay, yeah, if we really want to get going and really make some improvements here, it is. And I usually do a little bit more of that in here, but it was so much I had to put together on this. I gotta start breaking it down a little bit more on the funding side of what does it mean? I usually sometimes will get into that too in a financial part of it, which I can do some more of that going forward then is, what does it mean if you have a million budget, a 2 million, a 3 million, 4 million, per year? How does that improve your, your system? And that's right now, because part of that is the problem. We're trying to take these segments and get them done, but we are going to have to do some little bit of stretching and compromising, which we really don't want to do. But, again, as long as we do it in a smart way and try to do it in a really smart way as much as we can. But yeah, if you had another 500,000, 600,000, makes a heck of a difference, because then we probably would, these full segments already, the ones we're looking at, we probably would be maybe in the edge of, say, let's pulverize them all the way through, let's not compromise at all. And then you're gonna get a benefit of that on the back end too then, so.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have the budget reports. Budget reports.
So I did make some slight changes here and there with, things that have been going on, but ultimately the budget reports really haven't changed a whole lot. Administration did, the expenses did come down, mainly due to, me. I've been helping out finance quite a bit, so, I think that will bring my percentage in highway down. But other than that, not too many changes.
This one for 310, that one is a concern, right? That one, I mean, we know where we're at, but.
Yes, yes, 310 is,
Been checked, right?
no, it says check if no concerns.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Monday.
Sorry. And that's the budget, the only one that I really have, concerns about, but we know why, all the reasons why.
Yep, sorry.
The only other one that I made some adjustments to would be, the bituminous operations to, just, accounting for running the plant for that, the patch material. It does, help some. Just they did that. Otherwise, there weren't really any foreseen changes in any of the other one. So we're still, on the summary, we're still looking at, coming in like right at budget.
Your motion to approve the. There a motion?
I'll make the motion. For the budget report.
Okay. Any more discussion on them? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carries. Next, we have out of county travel.
Commissioner training. for fall commissioner training, Platteville. It's a cost of about $475.80 cost. On October 6th, stay the night, finish up 7th and come back.
A motion to approve
Motion
that.
to approve.
Second,
Second.
discussion on it? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? You guys here, if we adjust the agenda a little bit, to get to our business, before we go to rules.
In a chair. Of it.
We're gonna adjust the agenda a little bit. Next, we have the commissioners report.
Yeah, Victoria County D is done down there between Ozzer Road and Ranch Road. Shoulder, we're waiting on line painting. Recently, we've done some small township patches and repairs. County F was a couple spots we did greater pave. There's some pavement in sections there. Right now we're transitioning to spray patching, crack sealing for states, towns, our own system. Actually, we have the first day today firing up that spray patcher. And we have the other county here assisting with some training on that, so we're gonna have the spray patcher.
Where are you starting with that at?
73. No injuries to report. We talked about the purchasing a paver in the near future. If we don't have one, then we're kind of looking at transitioning to the maintenance only, and we barely have enough budget to do our own work. So if we do become a maintenance only county, we don't have enough budget to hire a private contractor to come and do our work. So I think that's part of our plan, is to be doing our own work as much as we can with able bodies that we have. Talked about the new skid steer a little bit. Plan is at the end of the month, have been in the discussion with Tractor Central. And then the culvert aid moving forward, which you guys made a motion on. That's, I think, a big stepping stone for us to continue working with some of these townships that wanna work with the highway department. The bridge cycle, I brought that list last month. I didn't bring it again because nothing's changed. So them 7 bridges, KBIS tried doing some work around to get them in, and DOT came back and said, well, you're gonna have to do it a different way. So he's in the process right now of getting those 7 in for us, the 3 county and then the 4 towns, with one being them culverts. So that's the update I got now. I haven't gotten the formal notification that they're in the program, but I have been working on them. And then I think the end of this week, if not sometime next week, the next LRIP cycle applications will be out for the counties and the towns. Safety training, we got Dustin coming next week. He be working on, I think, silica sand and stuff like that. In the packet here, we talked last month about bringing the equipment and the budget reports of what we're looking at for our equipment, kind of the ratings and reviews on them. So I brought that in the packet here for you guys to go over and look at. As you see, most of our dump trucks are fork shaped. We talked about that a lot. Gale skid steer is replace that case loader. We talked about that being tough. Pavers on there has worn out. Also got an old Bomag on the roller section when you get there. That's an 88 roller. So we got the Ingersoll and the Dynapack in there. Someday in the future, we'd like to get rid of the Bomag and get a smaller size roller for culvert patches, driveway approaches, just the miscellaneous things that we rent one for. Also that 415, getting old. It does like to drink the oil. They check it, it runs. We talked tractors last time. So the John Deere's at number 76 and 84. The hours that are on the sheet here are not 100% correct. The meters have been changed. That 78 tractor in red, that's the tractor that only pulls around that wheel packer. The PTO has gone out and had multiple issues with it. It got to the point to where we were done sticking money into it. It does work for now, but it just that's the only thing it does is pulls trailer. So if we do update or get another tractor, they would replace this one. As far as pickups, I mean, we're sitting okay with pickups. We still got that number 18, got that 6-liter Ford. You know, every couple of years you can either do injectors or send it down to Ford and have a bunch of work done to it because they're idle and they cost a lot of money and they're problems. But as of right now, everything's running for the pickups. Excavators, you know, they're sitting okay. We got that tire machine last year. The 304, that's that cat. It's got 5,100 hours on it. It's depreciated out. It'd be nice to update it, but where are we gonna get the funding to do that? On the specialty trucks, our TAC truck. That's a 06D. The years and the mileage is wrong on that one. That one got messed up. That's my fault. That truck's pretty good shape. I'd say 3-4. 26, that's an old state sign truck, a lot of hours. That's another thing that should be updated within the next couple of years, if not sooner. It's got the auger on it. It installs state signs, county signs, and do township stuff. So it does generate revenue outside of the county system. 39 is the Weldon truck, lower miles. It does some service calls. And the bucket truck. That could be something in the future we move forward to, is get a bucket truck, sign truck, where it has the bucket with the sign truck and it also has the auger attachment. We could get rid of 2 trucks and make 1. That's in the future to have a discussion about something like that. The trailers. Any questions on any of the equipment?
Got, on the, are we waiting on any more trucks?
2 trucks, yeah, that's,
So those aren't on here yet, right?
no. I sent an email out last week. I haven't got nothing back just to see what we're kind of looking at. The issue we run into is this new emissions that come through. Everybody kind of bought a whole bunch of trucks and backlog is there.
We were originally supposed to get them by now, weren't we?
No,
December?
January.
January,
The
right.
trucks are in.
Okay.
They're in at Marshfield. They're actually sitting at Monroe. But whenever they can get them in, is kind of where we're playing ball.
Well, and then that's everything that's ordered? That we approved?
Yeah, them 2 and the skid steer.
And then what, the 26s get changed over? Right. They're doing something
For
different.
the emissions, yeah, and with the current political standpoint, who knows if it's gonna continue or if it's gonna drop. I mean, so they might back off the emissions a little bit, or they might keep them. I don't know where they're going with that.
Hate, buy some of this other equipment, you can at least go find and buy it, but when it comes to these trucks, it's like you make the appropriation for it and you don't see it for a year, if you're lucky. That has me a little concerned. I mean, yeah, I know we bought a lot of trucks, don't get me wrong, but we budget for them, but you really don't see them for quite a while. So it's like if we skip a year here, we're gonna almost be 2 years behind on seeing another truck.
And that's where we sit. I mean, if our backlog wasn't so bad on all these trucks, I mean, be a different story if you skipped a year, but considering you got 10 trucks that are red, between ones and twos, higher mileage, age is significant. Got one in the shop right now, they got the box off, it's the truck flipped over so they can re-weld the tubing underneath the box, because what else do we do? There's actually another one there that could have the same done, but hoping to just leave that one set and not stick no money into it and just utilize it for something else.
So when the two new ones come, if I'm reading this report right, you're gonna be up to 10 that are 4 or better.
Yeah. Yes. And these 2017s that are in there, they're starting to come and blowing hoses and stuff like that. So I mean, they're in good shape, but they're getting to the point to show their age.
They're 8 years old. So which two are you planning on? Like,
Getting rid of?
yeah, when you get the two new ones, probably 41 and 50 maybe, or I guess I don't know.
So it's kind of circumstantial right now, depending on how the winter goes with braking. We had talks about 41 and 50, but also we looked at 89, 86, 88 with 300,000. We talked about 71, which is getting the box fixed right now. I guess when we pick, it'll be picked when them trucks are here, because we'll know where our trucks are sitting at that point.
The single axles are pretty much good.
For 27, the single axle works good because it's a 12-mile down, 12-mile up, 12-mile down, 12-mile up, north and end of 27. The good thing about them single axles, they got the underbelly on them, so you can put some down pressure on them. One of the single axles we have, it's set up for a conveyor. So when you put gravel in it, you got spot repairs on some of the county roads on the shoulder. You can conveyor out, back up with the truck and blade it back with the underbelly.
You mentioned last time we bought trucks, you were thinking about needing a single axle.
Did talk
Came
about
up in the discussion, but you thought you'd get a little longer out of it. Then I see you got all your single axles with a 1 rating, so now I'm not so sure.
before we run into the scenario of we keep things running, but it's at the cost of our equipment fund. That's why it's hard. I mean, he said we made 200-something thousand revenue on our equipment fund last year, but how much did we spend to keep everything going? Because of everything that's continually costing us.
He's almost, I think eventually he's almost got a price on another dump truck, don't you guys think? I mean, whether or not we buy one or not, it's another thing, but I think we gotta keep the plan moving forward.
We'll get a price.
One option we're looking at, that's, we're working on the equipment stuff some more together, and it comes back to kind of the trying to stretch dollars, because we're so far behind again. Like you're seeing right now, right? The paper trucks, all the trucks that are there.
Well, it's gonna be a never ending.
It is never ending, but what we might have to do is, I mean, with the cost, it's just like the paver. The cost of the new truck is 350, 400, 450,000 with all this winter equipment. We might look at, again, we got trucks that are, 28, 25 years old. Maybe we're gonna have to really scour again and find, if we can find 2 or 3 or 4 that are being sold by another county or somewhere. They're, maybe they're 10 years old, they're 12 years old instead of 20, 23 years old, and so we're gonna kind of talk about that a little bit too, to see if we can find some things out there, because I have a few contacts out there. There might be some coming available here that are, again, much newer than yours, that from another county. And if there's a chance that we can come back, bring it back to you guys, talk to you guys about it, because it might be, we have to take some of these steps right now, because what do you do? I mean, you're only creating 250, 300,000 in your equipment fund without any other funding out there. You're gonna drain that out so quick on a brand new one new truck or one, paver. You're running out of money just like that, again. So we gotta start looking at where we have, yeah, it's compromises, but we have no choice right now than to try to do some to try to get us a little bit more out of this hole, I think, and So I think we're gonna try to look at that a little bit too, because I know we do have some that might be coming available in a few months here from another county and see if we have to go that direction for a little while here to kind of get us out of the hole a little bit more.
As long as we don't end up with the last group we got.
You know, I take a chance.
They saw way too much salt.
Yeah.
Okay,
And that's about what I got for the report.
Any questions on the report? Hearing none, we'll move into the Bolton's report, and we went over that already, didn't you?
Nothing else today.
You kind of went over the safety report. You said Dustin was coming, right?
Yeah, next week.
Okay. Next, then we have the financial report.
Starting off with what you have in your packet, winter maintenance changed. You have the estimated financials, our billing is, sitting at right now. Updated, the projects, the construction projects, with, where we were at. I still have some costs yet that will, add to that. No change with the blacktop plant and repairs there. And then your equipment fund balance and the blacktop plant fund balance. Then we have our accounts receivables. Nothing real concerning there. Townships sometimes get a little behind depending on when we're sending the billing out, when they're having their, so usually don't have any problems with them getting paid out. And that's all I have.
so you brought up at finance. Good kind of bring it up here. Between the bonding for this, or moving the geo bond.
Yeah, yep,
We bring everybody here,
okay.
to speed of your mindset.
Okay, so if you look at the estimated financials, our blacktop plant fund balance is in the hole. With the estimates, we're gonna get close to that $600,000 mark. With not running the plants much this year and our projects in the next couple of years, we're not looking at probably running the plant much at all the next couple of years. So we don't have the revenue coming in to pay for the bond payments, which is how the bond was set up. Since we don't anticipate having that revenue, instead of allowing that fund balance to go even further in the hole, we are proposing that the bond from revenue bond to a general obligation debt. That way, this fund balance doesn't continue to go in the hole, and then we're able to add that to the debt service, which goes above the levy limit. And we do have that capacity. It's about $830,000 with it. Interest, principal and interest. Otherwise, we're already gonna have to figure out some way to dig ourselves out of this deficit here in this fund balance. If it goes any more, there's the possibility we have to ask for levy dollars, which will be operating levy, which then means that we'd have to cut either from our budget to support that or other departments' budgets, which isn't really fair to them. If we take action now, reducing that.
That'd be good for you guys to hear, because get a little pushback at finance, which of course, but I expected that when she brought it up, but
I think a little bit of that was a misunderstanding
I do
too.
too. That's why I thought it'd be good for these guys to.
It's the 2020.
Um. Yeah, I believe 20.
Now on the bills, it has 20, it says GO bond, blacktop.
Yeah,
You said it was general revenue.
yes, I'm not sure why they put that in the description unless it probably because it is that payment. That's just for interest, the second half of interest there. And there's more to that payment that is general obligation
Okay.
fund. So my guess is when they put that description in there, I didn't enter
So
that.
that was
in.
probably the description for the entire
Yeah,
invoice
Yeah.
for interest.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I
yes.
know we'll get to that, but I was just curious why that goes into administration and not through.
So that's a DOT,
Okay.
regulations, like all interest expense has to go to the administration. But, we were instructed to then, transfer funds from the Blacktop Plant Fund to cover that. So that's something I do, just manually on my end before I, charge the levy. So it does not.
And your equipment fund balance, because someone might look at this and go, oh. $3,000, but that's not the two plow trucks yet that are coming, I mean,
Correct.
but
Yes.
said for.
We have that and then,
Skid steer's probably not out of there yet.
no, not yet.
Any other big purchases we got that wouldn't be out of that yet?
No, not a,
But that's gonna pretty much wipe out.
correct. Yeah, and then we have the rest of the year of, equipment repairs and such too.
Right, any questions on the report? To approve?
But after, that's all that you want to.
Any committee announcements? Next, we have the invoices.
One on the invoice here, Barb built some tires for a lady Smith dump truck. Do we just tires on them for them once in a while if they
Yep.
need to?
Yep.
That's what I was assuming, but. You see the outgoing cost, but you don't see the incoming revenue, so.
See, we got Uni Architect on here. Which fund did that come up?
So I am running those costs through, my accounts so that I can track the total cost for capitalizing that project in the end. But it is coming out of, capital projects.
I see there's some charge on here too yet for County M. So that's been kind of a mess since it started. Smiles. So it was gonna get done and it was planned to be done a certain year. They kept moving it back, whatever. Anyhow, I thought we paid them like a year ago or whatever, that big chunk to proceed with our cost, our share of it.
So this is specifically for the design, and our cost of that is like 100,000. And they bill us as their build. So, yeah, we've been paying some on that. Probably the last, but
Right.
yeah. But this project is the same as our bridge projects where they,
They just do the trickle effect.
yep.
Okay. But have they gotten anywhere on that? I'm kind of getting off base here now, but
Yes, I've talked with MSA and actually I got a meeting here today or tomorrow, meeting with them to discuss where we're going and the analysis, and then they're gonna be working on project costs here. We're dealing with UT and engineers on width and the road and right of way, all that stuff to see which way they go from here.
hopefully they don't change it too much, because I remember part of that bond proceeds we approved that one year was to go towards our share of this project, I thought.
That's what we're working with, is to keep this to a standard road instead of well, we were trying to get an exception to standards, but now we've changed it, so it's just reconstruction. So less, well, you can get us more.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Any more discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Right.
Next, we have closed session. Bonus regarding Simmons transportation invoice pursuant to Wisconsin stats 19.85, para 1, para E, for deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. To go.
Make a motion to close.
Second,
Second.
Ron?
Yes.
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 Yes, on closed session. We have next meeting date.
We have no action and closed, correct?
Yeah, no action and closed.
Okay.
Next meeting date, October 20th.
I will not be here. Just, I'll email you again later just to remind you, but I won't be here.
Anybody got anything else? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
We motion adjourned.
Okay.
Adjourned.